From the Hilton in downtown Charlotte, this is TarHeelIllustrated.com. I'm THI publisher Andrew Jones, coming to you from the ACC Kickoff, day 4 of a 4-day event. First time ever a 4-day event, because the ACC has 687 schools in the conference now, spanning the globe. North Carolina, which is our focus here at THI, Tar Heels were up Thursday. In fact, the Tar Heels were the last team to go in the formal press conference area and in the breakout room, which is where I am right now. In fact, I don't have an elevated thing here, so it's not the typical angle you usually get, but I'll give you guys a little bit of a look here. This is the breakout room. Interviews, coaches, players sit at these tables. This is different from the formal press conference that you'll see on the ACC network. The transcripts that we run. We'll just run the videos from this stuff. And it was pretty interesting. I'll get into that in a little bit, but I'm going to give you sort of a synopsis of what I saw today, what I heard. I'm not going to go too deep into stuff, but I'm going to give you guys a decent little overview of some things. First of all, North Carolina had the most players here of anybody. The teams had to bring at least 3. Everyone had to bring a quarterback, and North Carolina was asked to bring a quarterback. And they said, look, we can't bring one over the other. So the ACC said, okay, you can bring 2. So what it turned out to be was that Carolina brought both Max Johnson and Connor Harrell. They also brought linebacker Power Eccles, defensive end linebacker rush specialist Kamen Rucker, and also All-American running back Omari Hampton. But there was a 6th Tar Heel here, J.J. Jones, who led the team in receiving last year, senior wide receiver. He was here doing some media stuff. In fact, I tried catching up with him, but it was so hard. There was so much stuff going on. But if you watched the formal press conference, he actually asked Connor Harrell a question in the formal press conference. It was pretty funny. JJ's got a great personality. He's doing a lot of stuff on Go Heels here in the next month during fall camp, so you'll definitely want to check out his stuff and get a little bit more of an idea of what kind of personality he is. He's going to be in this business when his football days are over. You can mark my word on that. Of course, Mac Brown was here as well, so I got to talk to all 7 Tar Heels, Mac and the players. We got video of the 5 players who were here for interviews plus Mac. What was interesting is that Max Johnson and Connor Harrell were seated together right over there, literally, like if they were a 1.5 feet, 2 feet from each other. So when you asked one a question, you were asking both a question. You couldn't have 2 interviews going on at the same time. And a lot of people were asking them about one another. So I thought it was kind of awkward that they were put in that situation, or that they were in that situation. I could understand why they did it. It's not to keep the peace or anything like that, because I think the relationship is what they say it is. I have no reason to think otherwise. And it seems to be a pretty solid, supportive relationship. They offer critiques of one another when they ask. It's not like Connor goes up to Max and says, man, your toe was pointed the wrong way. If Max comes back and says, hey, did you pick up anything I did wrong? Then Connor will tell him, yeah, your toe was pointed the wrong way. Or I'm just using that as an example. Now, otherwise, I thought it was interesting that they really didn't have any answers as far as how camp will be approached, other than just battling. They've been battling since before the bowl game last year, because Max showed up in practice about 3 or 4 times for the bowl game. He was on the sideline during the bowl game wearing a jersey. So they've been in competition ever since then. They didn't get too much into it, and that's fine, because we'll learn soon enough. And I am going to do a separate daily drop on the 2 of them from today, but I'll get into a little bit more stuff on that as well, because there were some other things we were able to learn from speaking with them. Omari Hampton, I thought, did a better job than he's done in the past with the interviews. It's one of the things I love about covering college athletics. When a kid comes in at 18 years old and he doesn't have much media experience, I love watching them grow and develop and get better in dealing with the media. And I thought that Omarion did a much better job today. He's at a very different place right now than he was this time a year ago, heading into fall camp, because there was a lot of uncertainty. Not just about him, but within him a year ago. He was pretty confident he could do the job, but he hadn't yet seen himself do it against really good teams on a consistent basis. He's now seen that. So I asked him, what's next? And he said he needs to become a better receiver. And a lot of that was part of a question I asked about showing the league, because the running back in the NFL has changed and he knows it. And he says, look, I got to show I can catch a lot of different patterns, got to be better at pass protection, got to play more laterally. And I think that I think what you're going to see more this year is Omari and catching passes. Chip Lindsey loves throwing to running backs. I think you'll see that more. Darren Barlow has a little history there. I think Davion Goss could be really good out of the backfield, and we'll see about the others as well. Kamen Rucker and Power Eccles, talked to them. They were obviously separate. I talked to Power first with some good stuff. Power doesn't lack for confidence, very self-assured, and he said this is his defense. This is his defense. He makes the calls. He's the linebacker in the middle. It's his defense. He told me that Cedric Gray, quote unquote, passed the torch to him, and he has embraced it and run with it the last 7 months, and he's ready to lead going into fall camp. So I asked Kamen Rucker, who's been here a year longer than Power, who's played an awful lot as well, who is a very vocal guy. I asked him, is this Power's defense? And he said, absolutely, this is Power's defense. So, and this is a group that's got a lot of older vocal guys that have played a lot on defense. Shaquem Harris from NC State has come in and been very, very vocal back there. Stick Lane is a guy who's increasingly vocal. Des Evans has been very vocal with these kids. So there's a lot of older vocal guys, but it's Power's defense. And also with Mac Brown, I asked Mac about the 105 scholarships, and I'm going to go ahead and write some stuff on that next week, probably, because I'm going to poke around and see what some of the other coaches said about 105 scholarships, but I don't think it's much of a positive at all. In fact, it throws a wrench into how they can utilize walk-ons and all that kind of stuff. But we're going to do some drops rolling into it. The Tar Heels start Monday night. First practice, July 29th, 1 month before opening the season at Minnesota. That's August 29th. It's a Thursday night on Fox, not Fox Sports, but on Big Fox. I guess it's Fox 50 in the Triangle, and the Tar Heels will take on Minnesota on the road. Very big game, very difficult game, more difficult than a lot of Carolina fans, I think, realize right now. But overall, good showing for the Tar Heels. The players, very interesting group. It's the kind of group that I think Mac is real proud of for a lot of reasons. And I think a very calm confidence about this group as the season approaches. We will be at practice Monday night. We'll have quite a few people from THI there. I have a lot of stuff coming. And I got a few more drops I'm going to roll out from here in Charlotte. Usually we don't run drops on Saturdays and Sundays, but we'll have some leading up to the start of football practice. That's it. I'm AJ. Thanks for stopping by.